Ace right here with me today. I'd like to compare these two devices and share my personal impressions. I also want to explain why I even bought an S Mini when I already own an Ace, you know what I mean? I often see a lot of comments saying the Ace is vastly superior to the S Mini and that this one is absolutely not worth buying. But, you know, I had a little bit of pocket money stashed away and I just really wanted to spend it, didn't I? Otherwise, my wife would confiscate it sooner or later. And, well, this device is quite pretty, so I was tempted and just bought it. Alright then, let's take a closer look, shall we? First, we'll examine their outward appearance. Let's dim the screens for a moment. So, from a purely aesthetic standpoint, considering their outward appearance, which of these two devices would you say you prefer more? Actually, I originally wanted to buy the black S Mini. It has a more seamless look. When it comes to the overall design aesthetic, I must say I personally still find myself much more drawn to the Ace, you know? Honestly, even if we put aside the screen's aspect ratio for a second, I truly believe its trapezoidal slope design, along with those rather alluring dark red transparent buttons, and the overall color scheme. It just looks incredibly stunning. And honestly, the main reason I actually bought this Ace device at the time was because I really preferred its matte, almost skin-like frosted texture and overall feel. Even though it gets greasy, I don't really play much, right? As long as I'm comfortable for these 10 minutes, that's all that matters to me. And this tempered glass film, you see it's very... but the film is the problem, not the device itself. In my heart, I really feel that its aesthetic appeal should be significantly better. Of course, many people also think the S Mini is excellent, including John Geng, who tricked me by saying the S Mini is very small and can fit in your pocket, right? Let's see if there's a really significant difference in their size, shall we? First, in terms of width, or let's say height, there's not much of a difference. No real difference. Then the length. Some might call it length, some might call it width, right? We just see it, you're smart, you get it. About 1 centimeter, right? It's only about 1 centimeter. In terms of thickness, there isn't much of a difference. It's just that the silver one might look slightly different. Plus, this one has slanted edges, some slopes, which adds a visual variation. So when you look at them this way, they're quite comparable. So, let's take a look at them, and since we're talking about their appearance, let's just go over them comprehensively. So, looking at these two right here, on the very top, which design do all of you find more appealing? Honestly, in my opinion, there isn't a huge difference between them. However, I might personally prefer this silver aesthetic a bit more. However, this black model still offers a more integrated and seamless look. Now, let's turn our attention to the right side. You could say these two are one and the same, both having a human touch, right? Just look at the right side. The left side. Hey, the S Mini on the left has an extra button. To be honest, I haven't even touched it today to see what it does. On the bottom. Oh, the speaker openings are positioned quite differently. The Ace has them on this sloped edge, whereas the S Minis are indeed located right at the very bottom. And it just hit me. This Ace model actually has no screw holes on its side, none at all, surprisingly. Its screw holes are all on the back. It has absolutely no screw holes on its sides, whereas the S Mini has 2 screw holes on the bottom, but none at all on the top or either side. So, I still believe the Ace's design is superior. I'd say it's at least 2 points ahead. 1 point for its innovative slope design, another for its exceptional color scheme, and the absence of screws adds yet another point, putting it 3 points ahead. Yes, 3 points. If we're giving it a score out of 100, I'd rate it a 97. Alright, so let's check it out again. What are everyone's impressions of how it looks once the screens are actually powered on and illuminated? Hey, you know, once the screen lights up, the front of the S Mini doesn't look nearly as ugly as it did before, right? It seems to improve quite a bit. Or should we take another look back? See, it seems like a lot of people are really criticizing the proportions, saying they aren't very harmonious. It's not as good as the 476H, is it? The 476H really does look very good. Alright, now that we've powered on both machines and their screens are lit up, which one do you find yourself preferring more? Well, for me, the gap probably isn't 3 points anymore. It's probably down to just a 2-point difference now. Of course, many people mention the ghosting effect on this particular screen, but I believe that's something each individual.
Well, you can see for yourself what kind of person I am. I only collect devices, I rarely play games. And when I do, I don't use these two. I use the Sol, or perhaps the Odin 3, right? Alright, so, after checking out its look, we absolutely have to dive into the most crucial part, the very reason I actually splurged on a new unit, that incredible high-performance 4x3 screen. And honestly, I'm pretty sure that's exactly why so many folks are grabbing the S Mini, or even the L Mini, right? So let's take a closer look. So let's take a look at how it actually performs across a variety of different platforms, shall we? Let's take a look at the GB platform, shall we? This is our GB platform we're talking about. Let's turn off the music first. Let's put on some background music, just a little bit, to set the mood. I just put this card in and completely forgot to flash the ROM, so it might take a little longer than expected to load up. While we wait, let's take a look at the ACE, shall we? Here, let me just wipe the screen for a second. I've actually owned the ACE for over a year now, and the only real concern, the sole issue that truly bothers me, the one thing that causes me distress, is this particular aspect right here. It gets oily too easily. Let's restart it and see. I don't think I focused the camera properly for you just now. Sorry about that. Does this bring back memories? Let's get a bit closer, even zoom in for everyone. I can magnify it quite a bit for all of you to see. Oh, excuse me, my phone stand is a little bit wobbly here. Does this bring back those old school feelings from back in the day? Huh? Alright, let's. Well, this just goes to show how little I've actually used the S Mini since I got it. I haven't even configured the screen off settings yet. It's still loading because this particular card is over 500 gigabytes. So let's just pause the magic for a moment. Alright, the magic has been cast and it's finished. I've unified both of them back to this Pegasus system interface. Now, between these two interfaces, which one would you say you prefer more? Apologies for the slight pause, we're just getting things settled here. Oh, sorry about that, I accidentally pressed a button. Let's make sure both of these are displaying the exact same screen. Now, looking at these two, which style do you personally find more appealing? Ah, actually, on the Pegasus interface, they're pretty similar. What if we open both of them, just like we did before, and see how that feels for everyone? What do you all think about that idea? At this moment, the S Mini, well, it really gives off a sense of being ahead of the curve, doesn't it? I believe one reason could be that its white panel truly complements its white bezel quite nicely, and another factor is simply that its size is a much more suitable fit. A significantly better fit overall, actually, for its... The bezel on this one is quite a bit narrower, and this particular unit is the GB model. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and move on to checking out another platform. We can now take a look at the GBC version. The GBC's feel, since its size is quite similar to the GB's, they're actually identical. Then the visual experience of the ACE would be more comfortable, wouldn't it? It truly offers a more cohesive feel, and that's largely attributable to its dimensions. Similarly, we'll discuss. But this screen, I truly believe it's worth discussing further with everyone, because this display down here, as you will know, is indeed the very same one used in the S Mini. Oops, I misspoke, I meant the L Mini, the one priced at $599. The starting price for this particular unit, if I recall correctly, is either $2,299 or $2,199. I can't quite remember. The price difference between these two devices is truly enormous. You could practically purchase 4 of the other, and astonishingly, they even utilize the exact same display screen. I suppose that just goes to show you their deep-rooted, long-standing corporate culture. Wouldn't you agree? The display on the ACE, in my opinion, still surpasses that of the S Mini, regardless of whether or not people discuss issues like ghosting. I genuinely feel that its screen's transparency and overall visual impact are far superior to the S Mini's, offering a much more enjoyable viewing experience. After all, when the ACE first came out, it was really this very screen and its innovative design that allowed it to absolutely dominate its competitors, and it's no different this year.
The ACE is a 2024 model, yet here we are in 2026, and its price on the secondary market remains remarkably stable and consistent. And it's a machine whose price has remained stubbornly and remarkably high, defying all expectations. Alright then, let's move on and take a look at some of the other platforms that are available to us right now, shall we? Now, let's turn our attention to the GBA and observe something truly distinct. I believe Fire Emblem would serve as a superior example for the GBA, as its interface perfectly illustrates that exceptional pixel-perfect display effect, making it an ideal demonstration. Fire Emblem, the Binding Blade, or as it's known in Japan, Fire Emblem Fuin no Tsurugi. It's a classic. Of course, every time I talk about the effects of these filters, I am truly and immensely grateful to Mr. Daguan Kwan for producing such incredibly exquisite content. His dedication and craftsmanship are truly commendable, making these visuals so stunning. First, let's take a look. The reason for the different display colors you see here is that I'm actually using a distinct color grading style for each device. Alright, let's begin by observing the S and see what kind of sensation it evokes, shall we? Every single detail is so incredibly distinct, and I absolutely adore that kind of visual clarity. Okay, so now we're going to take a moment to closely examine the S and really see how it performs, shall we? Mini, hey, this is also incredibly good indeed. It's quite impressive, definitely outstanding. Alright, let's take a step back and get a broader view. Then we'll compare these two devices side by side to see their differences more clearly. So everyone, considering both of these, which one do you think you would ultimately prefer? At this point, when I compare the GBA displays, I genuinely feel that both devices possess their own beautiful qualities. I truly think they're both excellent. Neither is inherently superior to the other. There's no clear winner to be found here. They both shine brightly in their own unique ways. Alright, so let's move on and take a look at what the next platform is that everyone seems to be most interested in, shall we? That would be what we commonly refer to as the PlayStation 2, correct? People want to know how this handheld plays PlayStation 2 games. Oh, I see. I just wanted to mention something here. Of course, I won't be testing this machine's performance. With the Snapdragon G3x, there's absolutely no need to worry about any issues, no problem at all. Let's watch this together, and let's just focus on Brother Joe's lifelong rival, shall we? It's going to be a real showdown. Oh, perhaps I didn't set it up correctly, so I might not even be able to get the game to launch in the first place, or even get into it at all. Alright, let's continue to work some magic. Okay, the magic is done. Honestly, after I got the S Mini, I just installed Pegasus, and that's it. Because I've been playing Dragon Quest V on Thor these past few days, I'm kinda hooked. Now, let's take a look. We should probably go ahead and increase the brightness just a little bit, don't you think? That way, everyone can see things a little more clearly. Now, when it comes to PlayStation 2 game visuals, which device's screen size do you folks generally prefer the most? Of course, many old school gamers would prefer the authentic 4:3 aspect ratio, right? And PlayStation 2 also has a widescreen patch, so you can even play it on a 16:9 device. You can play it on an Odin 3, no problem. Okay, so for someone like me, who isn't really bothered if the aspect ratio gets stretched out just a little bit, I actually find myself quite fond of both devices. Yes, I genuinely do like both of them quite a lot. When it comes to the color grading, I find myself having a slight preference for the S Mini. I really like that one a bit more. Okay, let's see the game. I'll stop talking now, you guys take a look. Oh, sorry, the joystick isn't mapped. Let's restart this. However, when certain cutscenes are played, it will still revert to the original 4:3 aspect ratio, and at that point it does somewhat break the immersion, pulling you out of the experience. So, at this exact moment, the S Mini takes the lead with a single point advantage. Okay, let's see if we can. Oh, it seems we can't skip it, which is quite a surprise and a bit of a letdown, considering how much I was hoping to just move past this part quickly. It's truly unexpected, isn't it? But just from my visual perception, observing with my own eyes, the screen on the S model still appears notably more translucent and remarkably clearer. It truly stands out in its ability to convey images with such pristine luminosity and striking definition, making it quite the exceptional display when compared side by side, wouldn't you agree? I'm not entirely certain if it comes across clearly in the video, but when I personally observe it on my phone's display, particularly during the actual playback of this specific cutscene, I truly do find myself consistently preferring the overall visual sensation that the S's screen provides, despite the fact that occasionally it will indeed transition to that 4:3 aspect ratio. Let's focus on whether everything is consistent. We've adjusted the resolution for all of them to 4 times their native resolution, haven't we? This should ensure optimal visual quality and clarity across the board, providing a significantly enhanced viewing experience compared to lower settings. Over here, this one is actually running at 4 times the native resolution. Alright, let's try to position the screens at an angle that's as close as possible, okay? We really want to make sure it's captured just right. Alright, at this point, if any of you find yourselves no longer interested in watching, please feel free to fast forward. The battle sequence is upon us, but I've only got 2 hands to manage everything. I'll give it a shot and see if I can actually handle the controls, despite this challenging situation. Hey, there's one. Oh, the vibration on this thing is incredibly intense. It's really shaking quite violently. Right now, the vibration feedback I feel isn't very well matched at all. It truly feels as if a phone is ringing on my desk, just constantly shaking and vibrating relentlessly and unendingly. But that's a minor issue for me. I typically just switch off the vibration functionality. Alright, regarding the in-game display, as you can clearly observe, the top screen appears significantly more vibrant and transparent, whereas the bottom screen tends to be a bit darker and less vivid. However, let me assure you, this isn't due to the viewing angle, nor is it related to any brightness settings. I've already ensured to present this to you all for confirmation. Alright, after checking that out, now what we're going to do is exit the game for a moment. We'll get out of here first. I've seen enough of that. Why does my S feel like it's experiencing a bit of a stuttering sensation right now? Speaking of stuttering, it's true that Weiba's devices, and not just the S model, definitely have their share of bugs. For instance, with the S Mini, a common issue people encounter is that after the battery is fully charged and then unplugged, it immediately drops to 96%, right? Thus far, no other bugs have manifested, but my S previously had a battery problem where it displayed charging at 200 watts, and possibly discharging at 200 watts too, with its battery level constantly fluctuating. Later, I was about to send it for after-sales service, but I just unplugged and replugged it to charge a few times, and it fixed itself. It's more likely some minor issues with the system itself, but those are all pretty tolerable. What people truly can't tolerate are the typical issues with Weiba's products. The primary one is cracked casings, wouldn't you agree? The second one is light bleeding. The third issue, less common but more prevalent on the S Mini, is a crookedly installed screen, isn't it? Misaligned screens. Some claim it's due to rushing production for Chinese New Year, causing workers to install them crooked. However, with this particular unit I have, based on my close observation, it appears to be perfectly fine. Although upon closer inspection, it does seem to be ever so slightly shifted toward the left. Now, why might that be? On the right, you can typically see the black bezel will be slightly wider, but as long as it's not totally askew, I'm actually perfectly fine with that. One viewer commented, "Wow, Weiba's fans have adapted to the flaws." Well, actually, I'm not really a fan of Weiba. I'm truly a fan of Brother Joe, because I genuinely hold both Brother Joe and Old Zhang in high regard. They are, they're pioneers in this field, and honestly, many of the classic devices from Old Joe's company are sold at surprisingly affordable prices, really quite inexpensive. Seriously, you really do have to stash away some serious cash just to get your hands on one of Weiger's devices. So, to wrap things up, let me finally share my personal feelings on it. Of course, regarding its appearance, if we set aside this 4x3 screen for a moment, in what specific ways is it truly superior to the S model? Why don't we just talk about the screen first? The S's screen is clearer, more transparent, with no ghosting. But in terms of size, some people might prefer 4:3. I think besides the 4:3 aspect ratio, it can't beat the S in any other way. It just can't beat the S's screen. Second, let's talk about the grip hand feel. The grip. It's quite similar to the S, but as for the buttons, I definitely prefer the tactile feel of the S Mini's buttons. When it comes to the joysticks, I truly dislike them on both devices. Absolutely detest them. And why is that, you ask? Regarding these joysticks, I honestly believe they are quite poorly designed, being too slender, excessively tall, and rather unappealing to the eye. Despite this, it's common for many users to choose to replace them. For example, if we consider a unit like this one. This RP2S. How many years old is this machine, right? And seriously, take a look at this joystick design. Doesn't it just look so much better? Aesthetically pleasing even? Let's grab another one. This Il Mini from Weibo. Honestly, I find all their joysticks to be pretty terrible. None of them are really comfortable to use. Okay, so today's review, well, maybe not a review, but more of a sharing session, is probably drawing to a close. For all of you watching, this might not have been much help. Of course, I think if you like it, you should just buy it. Because nowadays, I feel like buying a handheld console, as long as you're not hoarding them or buying a ton, it's really not a big expense. But certainly, I believe if it truly appeals to you, then you should absolutely acquire it. Because these days, my opinion is that when purchasing a handheld device, provided you're not stockpiling them or buying a multitude, it genuinely isn't a significant financial outlay. Big purchases aren't even much of an expense. For instance, if you buy a device for $2,000, even if it's a Weibo, which many say is pricey, you buy it for $2,000 and sell it for $1,900, right? When you play with it for a week or even a month, you only lose about 100 win. Many machines don't even make you lose money at all. If you really like it, just go ahead and buy it to give it a try. A long time ago, I used to get excited and my heart would be stirred, but then I just hesitate and say, no, I won't buy it, not yet, I'll wait. And so on and so forth. But if you don't hoard them, I think it's perfectly fine. I admit I might have been hoarding a bit too much lately. Now, regarding these devices, I do believe that older Nintendo consoles still hold some collection value. However, these specific ones, in my opinion, don't really have much of that. Nevertheless, one can still be influenced by certain prevalent opinions within the enthusiast community. For example, you just gotta have one with this aspect ratio, you know? That's essential. So, for example, the L is for combat, and the S Mini is for what, right? This RP2S also has that retro mini TV style, so you just have to get them all. Okay, that's the feeling I'm getting. Now, if you didn't have either of these machines, which one do you think you'd actually pick for yourself? I mean, how should you choose? All the processors are identical, so you just pick the one whose appearance you like more. Simply buy whichever size and style appeals to you most. The screen dimensions don't significantly differ, unless of course you're truly passionate about playing PS2 games, in which case you'd unequivocally select this particular model, wouldn't you? But then again, that's not always true, is it? Well, to each their own. Just pick your favorite and you're set. If you're wealthy, buy them all. If not, just buy one for $200, play it, then sell it, right? Play with it for a couple hundred and then it's goodbye, bye-bye now. I really hope that you all can give me a like, hit that follow button, and drop a comment. That's a triple threat. Please give me all your support. Thank you so much for everything.